Good evening. It's me, Hidden Pigeons. Hidden Visions. I'm going to give you an introduction to ToruTaru. We're going to talk about what the game is, and how to play like a pro. So without further ado, what is ToruTaru? ToruTaru is a game that I have been making for the last couple of years. ToruTaru is an infinite procedurally generated horror game that takes place inside a mansion that is alive. It's different every time you play. Every event that happens is completely random, and there's just a great deal of variety to the gameplay. Now, I'm going to be using cheats here to show you how all this stuff works. So when you see me pull up this menu of stuff that I can spawn, you know, don't get too jealous, okay? Don't get too jealous. All right. So, a brief on the storyline. So the story of ToruTaru is fully written, but the intro, there's an intro to the game, but it doesn't show you everything. It doesn't tell you everything. So I'm going to give it to you here with as few spoilers as I possibly can. So you play as somebody, this man, who lives in a fictional town. There's a girl that you've been dating for 3 months or so, and you find out that she's been hanging out with some sketchy people, and she runs away. She gets really depressed and despondent and runs away to a place where she used to go as a young child. Her parents used to take her to a tourist attraction, which is an old mansion. And so through the grapevine you find this out and you go look for her. But when you arrive, the mansion that you walk into has actually been consumed by a demon. The demon is called ToruTaru. The demon is getting ready to try to fight God. And he tries to imitate God as best as he can, but he fails. But he can attempt to imitate the infinity of God. And so within him, there is an infinity, although it is sick and incomplete. And so that is the mansion. He has consumed this mansion, and within him is a depth of architecture within which you are now trapped. He was summoned by 5 amateur magicians who had never done anything like this before. They had never summoned anything like ToruTaru before, and this was them trying it out for the first time in an attempt to gain power for themselves. Something bad's happening in here. So that's the story ultimately, and you're just kind of caught up in the middle of it. Your girlfriend has wandered in here, unbeknownst to her and to you, that this place is the inside of a demon. So that's the storyline brief. As for the gameplay, the way the game works is you explore the mansion, and you get to the highest floor you possibly can, is one way you can play. In the future, there will be boss fights and ways to progress the storyline. There are kind of boss fights already, but these will be story-specific boss fights that progress the story, reveal the story to the player. There's a pretty big twist with regards to the player's involvement in everything. And so you explore the mansion and you get to the highest floor you possibly can. How do you get to the next floor? Well, you have to pass through these doors will lead you to the next floor. Now there are multiple ways that you can get to the next floor. Sometimes these doors don't exist. Sometimes there will be an elevator. Sometimes there will be a door that opens, and you'll be able to tell which one is the end door. Dust will come out of it and stuff. But typically you see this type of door, and if I try to open it, it says it's locked. Maybe there's a key. So we're going to go look for the key, because these doors are always locked and they require a key that exists somewhere in the level. So something else that I should mention, a pretty integral part of the game, is you have a map. So your character is actually in architecture as a profession, and so naturally he's pretty good at drawing maps. So you have a notebook with you, press the map button, you have a notebook with you, and you have a map that you've been drawing, and as you discover new areas, for example this hallway right here, see this hallway ahead of me? As I walk into this hallway and into this room, it gets drawn on the map as I go. You can draw on the map, you know, at your leisure, and you have 3 different colors of ink, and so you can use the different colors of ink really however you want. So everybody kind of plays differently from what I've seen. So for example, I found the end door before, right? So I'm going to mark it green. Also, if you hold right click, there's an eraser. You can get rid of ink that you no longer want there. So for example, if I was trying to guess where the end might be, and I go, huh, maybe it's in one of these places, and I go check them all out, and it wasn't in these 2, I can erase it. So, okay. So here's our door, so we got to find our key, right? So we can use the map and our senses and our sense of direction, however good or bad that might be for each individual, and try to find that key. So I don't see anything in here, so I'm going to mark it red so that I know not to go back there. If you touch these lights, it'll turn it on. There's some meta with these lights, but I'll explain it later. Keep in mind also, I have enemies turned off right now, just for the sake of explaining the game. So there will be no enemies, there will be no danger for this level. Well, you know, within reason. There are, of course, the occasional spook, but they're harmless, I assure you. Let's see, where's our key? Well, oh, here we go, here's our key. So you'll notice there's a sound with the key, and so if you don't see it, like if I didn't notice that, you know, you'll be able to hear it. And to pick up objects, you crouch on the object, and you'll be able to pick it up. So our door is all the way back here. And that's it. You'll notice after I complete the level that some stats, nice lag spike, some stats will appear, and it shows you how long you've been playing. So that's a brief of the gameplay. There would normally be things attacking me, and of course here's level 2, and so this is a different type of level, and so kind of like a certain popular voxel game that's out there. There are sort of biomes in ToruTaru. What I mean by that is there's different level types that can spawn, and these levels are procedurally generated completely. So every level is completely different. It's randomly generated. I'm sure you can tell how it's generated. What the heck was that? I'm supposed to be on peaceful mode. So that sound indicates that an enemy is close. I didn't want to show you that just yet. But anyways, these are totally random levels, right? So so even for me, I made the dang game, and I don't know what it's gonna do. The events, the levels, everything is randomized, and that's kind of the fun. So that's a gameplay brief. We'll get into more in a little bit here, but you know, for example, how do you defend yourself against enemies, right? We'll get into that. So let's talk about the heads-up display for a second. Obviously, there's none. I prefer games to just have like no, like your health bar and stuff. I don't like to see that on the screen. So the default button for it is tab. If you hold tab, you can see your health in the top left. You have 6 health. It also shows what floor you're on, floor 2. It shows you in the bottom right how many coins I have, and any inventory I might have will appear kind of in the middle of the screen. We can see we have 12 matches. So that's the heads-up display. So let's talk about gameplay mechanics in general. I'm going to talk about just general gameplay mechanics, starting with the matches. So you've probably noticed that the game can get really dark. Like what's going on in here? It's so dark. So to strike a match, to use one of those matches, the default is you hold right click and you strike down like you're striking a match. And then that will deplete one of your matches, and you get a match here that lasts effectively like maybe a minute or so. It lasts for longer than a minute, I think, really, but it's most effective for about a minute. So anytime it's too dark, you just light one of those matches. So those are matches. You can pick those up. You'll find them all over the place. So let's talk about closets. That just opened on its own. So that's something that can happen in this game. Spirits can touch things and activate things on their own. So you'll see doors open and close. Sometimes doors will slam in your face right when you're running through a hallway and you're like, oh man, I really hope a door doesn't slam in my face, and you'll see it slam in your face. So, but this right here is a closet, okay? And so the closets, I guess kind of like the childhood instinct to hide in the closet from the monster, unless it's a closet monster. You can hide in these closets. If you step inside and crouch, the door will close, and if there were an enemy chasing me, which I think I can make happen, then that enemy would be deterred from me as long as I'm holding crouch in the closet. So if you're in a pinch, if you're in trouble, if you're just taking lots and lots of damage and you don't know what's going on, lots of ghosts, you can run into the closet and hold C, or the crouch button. Another thing I'd like to mention are drawers. So there'll be large furniture like this that you'll see that'll have like drawers on it and stuff. And if you walk up to it, it'll pop open and drop you an object. Just lagged, but so it dropped me a crumpled up piece of paper. It's not very useful, but sometimes it can drop keys, maps, defense items, stuff like that. So that's drawers. I guess I may as well talk about these objects that you see all over the place. These small objects that can be picked up. They're physics objects. They can be, if you hold the throw button, you can spin them around and you can throw them, right? So what's up with these? Well, these can actually be thrown at ghosts. They don't do any damage, but it can deter the ghosts. Also, there are enemies that resemble zombies in ToruTaru, and oh dear. I need to get away from that. That shouldn't spawn in peaceful mode. It's a very hard game to show to people because with everything being randomized, it's very, very unpredictable. So here's another drawer. Let's see. Oh, we get a talisman. Look at that. Sometimes these things can drop coins. And I'll show you coins, because coins are pretty fun. I'm going to show you what I can do with the cheat menu with coins too, because that's ultra fun. Let's get some coins. So here are some coins. Lots of coins. Probably more coins than most people will see at one time. So these coins can be used for a multitude of things. For example, if there's an area where spirits can spawn, which I'll show you later, you can toss a coin onto it to make an offering to the spirit to make it not spawn. You can also, there are fountains that you can run into, and if you drop a coin in the fountain, maybe make a wish and maybe it'll come true. Let's see, what else are they good for? There are jukeboxes that you can find. Here, I'll show you one right now. Here's a jukebox. There are jukeboxes you can find, and if you drop a coin in it, if it plays music, spirits won't be able to come near it. Now, it can also play cursed music that attracts spirits. It's a low chance, but it can happen. So while this is active, no enemies can come near me. So that's coins. You can throw them at different strengths as well. So if I just press the throw button, it just kind of drops it on the floor in front of me. If I hold it for just a second, it'll toss it a little harder. And if I hold it for a while, it'll throw it super hard. So that's worth mentioning. So I think we're at the point now where I want to show you talismans. I want to introduce you to talismans and show you what they can do. Let's go to a new level for that. I'm gonna just spawn a key and get on out of here to the next level. Excuse me. Let's see if there's a talisman room on this floor. I don't think so. Really? Okay. Oh. You see that? Oh no. Oh dear. Okay, yeah, as I said, it's a very hard game to demonstrate. You know, being particularly cursed and all that. So let's just spawn some talismans right here, and I'll show you what they do. So I'm going to spawn 2 sets of talismans. Here are every talisman in the game. So what are talismans, first of all? So talismans are these pieces of paper, and each one carries with it a blessing that can help you on your journey. Now, why did I spawn 2 sets? This is every talisman in the game. 2 piles of them. So the reason I spawned 2 sets of them is because each talisman has 2 different uses. They have a primary and secondary ability. And so I want to show you what they are. So let's get into it. Oh man, I didn't plan this out, so you're gonna have to bear with me while I, you know, this is unscripted. We'll start with the Eye Talisman. So the Eye Talisman has 2 abilities: have a vision or activate Eye. So have a vision briefly shows you where the key or the end door are. So for example, and it doesn't use the talisman up. So for example, I already have the key, but I haven't found the end door yet. So what it'll do if I use that primary ability, excuse me, is it'll show me myself and then where the door is in relation to me. And that has unlimited uses. Time does not stop while you're using that, so if you're using, or if you're being attacked by ghosts, you should not use that. And then the Eye's secondary ability is activate Eye, freeze time, and remote view through a ghostly eye. So you can use the secondary ability here to freeze time and teleport around. So I am the Eye right now, that's me over there, and I can teleport around and maybe check out the level with time frozen without any danger, you know, so I can warp through walls. And movement is a little different because I'm moving in spirit, but you know. And then when I press the button again, it lags. When I press the button again, it teleports me to wherever I was. So you can actually use that to explore safely. Pretty neat, nifty little talisman. So once again, that's how the eye talisman works. Let's see what else we get. we've got the Skull Talisman. Now the Skull Talisman is it's got some diverse uses here. So the primary ability, Give Flesh, the closest spirit will turn into a zombie. As a zombie, the enemy is slower and less aggressive, but it can't be dispelled by the Dispel Talisman. So it's a little easier to avoid, but you can't kill it anymore with a talisman. And then the secondary ability is Taunt Spirits. It'll put the talisman on the ground and it'll follow you, and spirits will be repelled and will avoid it, and that lasts 30 seconds. So, oh man, I haven't introduced you to any enemies yet, so this is going to be the first time. Let's go ahead and spawn a spirit. Yeah, let's do this kind. Oh wait, I need to take off Peaceable mode. There we go. Okay, so here's a spirit, and I'm gonna turn into a zombie. And so now he's you know, still a danger, but you know, less so. You know, he can be easily avoided. They're also not very smart. If I were to break line of sight long enough, you know, like walk down enough hallways or something, he would go away. So where's the other one? Let's show you the secondary ability. Here we go. Now the secondary ability is Taunt Spirits. Basically it just makes spirits avoid you. So let's spawn another one. There we go. Right on time. So this talisman will follow me, and the spirit doesn't like it. Spirit wants to get away. So you can use this kind of as a protection that will follow you. So that's both of the abilities of the Skull Talisman. Let's see what else we've got here. The Warp Talisman. So the primary ability is Warp, jumps the user ahead. You can use it to warp through walls. And then the secondary ability is Escape. It jumps to the furthest location away from the player. And this talisman is unique in that you will actually lose it when you go to the next floor. The Warp Talisman warps away. I mainly did that because it's a cheap talisman. Like you can really whip through a level with this thing. I'll show you what I mean. Do I already have a map? No. So check this out. So here's the primary ability. This is Warp. So it warped me ahead through the walls. So it being able to warp you through walls, that also means, oh no, please go away. It being able to warp you through walls means that, like, okay, so I can warp through here and get into this room down here. Watch, ready? Check that out. So you can use that for all kinds of things. And then the secondary ability, Escape, jumps to the furthest location away on the floor. So I'll mark where I am right now, and it's gonna take us to the furthest point away, like mathematically furthest place away. So there you have it. There is the furthest place away. This place is pretty stupid. Let's go back to our talismans. Oh, look at that. How convenient. We'll just warp back there. So that's the Warp Talisman. The Recall Talisman. So the Recall Talisman can do two things, just like every other talisman. The primary is to mark and recall. So the primary ability is to mark. So I'll show you what that does. So let's say I really want to return to this spot right here. Actually, no. Let's say I want to return to the talisman room that we made, right? So I want to come back here later and show you more talismans. So I'm going to drop a recall talisman right here. Okay. Now, I'm going to run some distance away here. And now the R key by default, your recall button can be pressed. And keep in mind, I don't have a talisman anymore. So this is, you can have another talisman. This is totally independent of what talisman you have in your hand right now. I press that recall button and it brings me right back to where I placed it. And then its secondary ability, Stray Warp, teleports the user to a random place on the current floor, 1 use. So this can kind of be used sort of like the escape on the warp talisman, where it just brings you to a random spot, uses the talisman. You can kind of use that if you're stuck, if you're lost, looking for a little inspiration. It'll just take you to a random place. It can also help you to escape. The let's see, the heart talisman, one of the easier ones to explain. The primary ability is to quick heal, which instantly heals the user for 3 HP. Keep in mind, I mentioned before, you have 6 HP total. And then the secondary ability, Bless Area. It places the talisman on the floor, and if you stand on it, it'll slowly restore your health to maximum. So I want to show you a couple of things. So here is the quick heal. Keep in mind I have 5 out of 6 health right now. Ready for this? So the quick heal, notice that my health has changed colors. Now it's like pink and blue. So you can actually overheal by 2 HP for a total of 8 HP. So overhealing is only possible in a couple of ways. One of those ways is the heart talisman. You can also stand in blessed fountains to overheal, but I digress. That's the quick heal. And the bless area. Here, I'll show you what that does. Throw it on the floor, and as long as you stand in those particles, oh well, I'm not damaged here. Let's get hurt. Let's get a little bit more hurt. There we go. We're pretty badly hurt now. Go ahead and stand in here, and it'll heal you. Notice it overhealed me by 2. So that's another way to overheal, and that's the heart talisman. What's underneath this dispel talisman? Oh, goody goody, my favorite, one of my favorites. This is the object talisman. So the object talisman, primary ability, drop it on the ground and it spawns a random object. It can be a talisman, it can be a key, it can be a map, it can be a door, the end door to the end of the level. It can be a spirit, etc. And that etc. is very, very broad. Sometimes it can spawn chairs or books or cigarettes or lamps. It can spawn all kinds of stuff. So let's just go ahead and drop it and see what we get. We got a dispel talisman that appears to be stained. Need to fix that. What's that? Okay. The object talisman's other use is extremely useful, and I would say underutilized. I watch streamers play all the time, and I never see them utilize this. The secondary ability is Find. It has 1 use, but it does not consume the talisman, so it doesn't use it up. It marks the location of keys, talismans, and doors on the current floor's map. And if a quest has been started, I'll talk about quests later, it'll mark the quest item as well. It works before the map is found as well as after. What that means is, like, if, for example, if I haven't unlocked the whole map, it'll mark stuff out here. Here, I'll show you what it does. So here is the secondary ability of the object talisman. Okay, so what did it do? Well, it marked a bunch of talismans because I have a bunch of talismans here. It marked this. That's probably a talisman too. And then here's our end door from before. And by the way, these marks can also be erased. So if I know that that's not the door and those aren't the door, I can actually, you know, narrow things down like that. So it can make a level a lot easier. I can show you later exactly how it makes things a lot easier, but yeah, like that's a lot less looking around. I know where that door is now, you know? So that's the object talisman, and let's see if it drops us something cool, because keep in mind, it doesn't, nice, it doesn't use it up to use the secondary ability. I know this part of the video is really boring and dry, guys, bear with me. The protect talisman, primary ability, protection ward, places this talisman on the floor and nothing can come near you. Nothing harmful can come near you. And then the secondary ability is push. It pushes any nearby angered spirits back a considerable distance. So let's go ahead and see what the primary ability does. So I'm gonna spawn a ghost. All right. Here we go. So here's a ghost. So he's gonna follow me, but throw down that protect talisman. You'll notice this kind of snowy, not that, that's something else. But you'll notice this kind of snowy stuff appear. And that guy cannot come anywhere near this talisman. And he's gone. That ghost gave up. He was like, well, I don't want to go near that stuff. But yeah. And that's the snowy stuff I mentioned. If the spirit goes within that stuff, or it can't go in that stuff. And that sound was the talisman burning out. So the talisman was used up. Secondary ability is push. It has 1 to 12 uses, which is random, somewhat. So it just pushes them back. It's kind of like a shotgun that you can use against the spirits. I'll show you what I mean. So let's have them follow me a little bit. Come on over. And then I can use push, and it knocks them back. Now there's a cooldown when you hear this sound. That sound, you can use it again. And so yeah, it's good if you're in a pinch. If you're running from a spirit, you can use it to just kind of like push them away, you know. So yeah, and that spirit gave up. We're almost done, guys. Dispel talisman. Yeah, dispel talisman. What does the dispel talisman do? Well, the primary ability drops the talisman on the floor and dispels any nearby angered spirits. And the secondary is the talisman slap, 1 to 12 uses, random. Slaps the nearby spirit with the talisman, pushing them back and harming them with a chance to kill. It can only be used in close quarters. So, just to recap. Primary ability drops it on the floor, dispels the spirit. Secondary ability is a close combat, slap the spirit, and it has a chance to kill. So I'll show you what I mean. Let's go ahead and spawn a spirit. We're going to dispel it. So the spirit is dispelled, and when you dispel a spirit, you get an item orb. So an item orb glows when you're close to it. And if you go and pick it up, a random object will come out. In this case, it was a bunch of coins. It can be all sorts of things, even some very surprising things. So that's the Dispel Talisman's primary ability. Let's check out the secondary ability. Here we go. So this is going to be the slap. And this is the close combat. I killed it in one shot. Let's go. Oh no. Another one. So when you hit it with the talisman slap, it repels it back a considerable distance as well. And yeah, that has 1 to 12 uses. Let's see what we got. We got a beacon talisman. That was the next one I was going to show you. So yeah, so that's the Dispel Talisman. And here's that radius for dispelling. It's pretty large. Anything inside that will get dispelled. That's for the primary ability. So let's check out the Beacon Talisman. So the primary ability of the Beacon Talisman is Beacon. It drops the talisman on the ground, producing lights and sounds which attract ghosts to the talisman. So this talisman is all about attracting the ghost. And the secondary ability, Eradicate Dark, helps the user to see while in the dark. While it's on, this ability will attract glowing spirits to the player. What does that mean? Well, let's check it out. First of all, this is a complex talisman. This is used in some meta, okay? But the basics of what this talisman does, here, I'm going to drop one right here. Let's have a look at it. So it takes a second to start up this talisman. So every, I think, 5 seconds, it does that. Now each time it does that, what's it doing, right? It's just making a bright light. Well, check this out. If there were a spirit, it will get pulled to the talisman each time. When there are multiple spirits, it'll pick a random one each time. But see how it pulls the spirit back. So what can that be used for? Well, let's say I've got a part of the map where there's just nothing there, kind of like right here, right? If there's a lot of spirits causing me trouble, I could put a Beacon Talisman back here and the spirit will get sucked back there. So, you know, maybe it'll follow me out this way, but then it gets sucked back, you know? And so it kind of nerfs the spirits and makes them just a little bit easier to deal with, right? Also, you can drop multiple Beacon Talismans in one spot, and I'll show you what that does. Oh, jeez. Can I heal? Hold on. Jeez, my epilepsy. Let's go ahead and heal. Okay. So let's drop a ton. Let's drop a ton of those. Let's see. Sorry, I don't have this more organized. Come on, there we go. Sorry again. I should have planned this out a little bit better. Oh, here we go. Here it is. So, multiple Beacon Talismans, right? You hear them all. So each time one of those triggers, it would be pulling a spirit back to it. See that? So each time they go boom, spirit gets pulled back. So if you find multiple Beacon Talismans in a level, then you can do that. You can stack them all on top of each other to pull the spirits more. And the secondary ability of the Beacon Talisman, oh my goodness, after this we only have one left. The secondary ability of the Beacon Talisman is Eradicate Dark. What does that do? What the heck is that? It's supposed to be peaceful mode. Go away. Scary ghost. So if this was a really dark room, just pretend this is a really dark room, and I use the secondary ability, it actually acts as a light for us. Let's find a dark area, if there's anything dark left. My goodness, I've absolutely molested this level with garbage. This is kind of a dark area. This will give you an idea. See? So everything is like, you know, visible now. But if I keep this on, wait for it. Surely. Oh, right. I have peaceful mode on. So what happens when I leave this talisman on? Those things happen. That's what happens. And the level will fill with those if I leave this thing on. Now you can just trigger it, or sorry, you can just turn it on for a second just to see the room you're in. And this is really useful for if you've run out of matches. That's why you would use this talisman. You know, if you've run out of matches, you can sacrifice, you know, attracting some spirits to have some light. And so that's the secondary ability of the beacon talisman. And so finally, we have arrived at the travel talisman. This is arguably one of the most useful talismans in the game. Primary ability warps the user to the next floor. I'm not kidding, it just gets you to the next floor. Let's do it right now. Now I lagged a little bit there, so I'll show you again. Let's do it again. Just in case you didn't catch it the first time. Drop the travel talisman. And you skip to the next level. It's that easy, ladies and gentlemen. And then what does, you're probably wondering, what does that secondary ability do on that travel talisman? Well, I'll show you. If I can find it. Is that it underneath there? No. Sorry, they're so hard to pick up. Oh, well, I'm in a tricky spot here to demonstrate this secondary ability. Just give me a moment here. The game is playing with me. Hold on. I'm gonna get mad here. Sometimes the game will do this to you. Don't toy with me, game. Alright. What does the secondary ability do? Warp of Blessing. Warps the user to the nearest blessed room. Only works if a blessed room exists on the current floor. So what is a blessed room? Well, let's hopefully find out. Oh, drat. This floor doesn't have a blessed room. Well, imagine that. So let's get ourselves to the next one. The next level. Oh, please, please, oh, please, oh, please. This is why this is a hard game to demonstrate, especially unscripted. It's because the game just does a lot of random stuff. I should probably turn peaceful mode back on. So let's try that secondary ability again. No. Okay. Well, let's go to the next level then. Alright, so let's try that secondary ability on the travel talisman one more time. This game is extremely hard to demonstrate. Let's try the secondary ability on the travel talisman one more time. I can't believe there have been this many levels with no blessed floor. That's insane. Or with no blessed room, sorry. Let's try that secondary ability on the talisman, on the travel talisman one more time. You've got to be kidding me. So let's try the secondary ability on the travel talisman one more time. Wow. I can't believe this. Sorry, and you probably have no idea what's even going on right now. So the talisman will warp you to a blessed room if there is one on the floor. Oh, I think there's one on this floor. I think I can hear it. So the secondary ability on the travel talisman, the end talisman. No. Well, you know what? Come on, don't mess up my whole tutorial. Stupid talisman. Dumb talisman. Stupid dumb talisman. Here's the secondary ability for the travel talisman. You're kidding me. Well, it would take me to a blessed room if any of these stupid levels would spawn them. I'll just let you wonder about that one. And then that's all the talismans. That's all the talismans. You know what? No, hold on. I'm gonna restart. We're gonna do this right. I ain't gonna let no stupid glitch mess up my tutorial. So the secondary ability of the travel talisman does this. I am seriously, it's becoming kind of illegal for me to express my feelings on how I'm feeling about this talisman right now. It's literally gonna ruin my whole introduction. I'm gonna get mad like a little brat here in a minute. Let's just forget about it. Just trust me that it's useful. So what it'll do, it'll take you to a blessed room. I'll show you a blessed room someday. So yeah, so let's move on to enemies and types of hauntings. So there are a couple of different types of, actually there are a lot of different types of enemies in this game. Let me think about how to even explain this. So there are, my goodness, a lot of different kinds of enemies, and each enemy has kind of subtypes that are all randomized. Suffice it to say that there are spirits, and there are cursed people, zombies you can call them, and there's some stuff in between as well. So let's cover spirits first. I want to talk about spirits. There's a lot of misconception about how spirits behave in this game, and I'd like to clear all of that up. So first of all, the majority of spirits that you see can actually be avoided. You don't really have to have a problem with them at all. I'll show you what I mean. So majority of spirits you'll see are I think drifting spirit is the correct one. So there's a drifting spirit, right? And if I avoid it, and if I don't look at it, it'll just kind of go away. It'll drift around the level. You can hear it right now. It's still, you know, being a menace, but it's actually not gonna really bother you. Sometimes it can accidentally bump into you. My goodness. But for the most part, they're really not, they're not a big deal. Okay. Now let's get rid of them. What other kinds of spirits are there? There's light spirits, right? Is that, that's not this. Yes, it is. There are those light spirits. They can appear from a number of causes. Those can appear, and if they touch you, you can see what happens to your vision. They can also kill you, of course, but it mostly just messes up your vision. That's the most annoying part. So those are those light spirits. Now you saw I just took some damage there. I want to talk to you a little bit about spirit damage and physical damage, but I'll tell you after I've shown you a few spirits. Let's get rid of that. Let's go somewhere where this can be more readily demonstrated. Oh dear. I've glitched myself. Let's talk a little bit about angered spirits. I want to talk to you about those. So an angered spirit. Let's see if we can find one. So an angered spirit is a spirit that will chase you forever. It will chase you until you either kill it, or well, dispel it, or leave the level. Here is an angered spirit spawn. So if I walk through that fog, I don't know what that guy's on about, sorry. He's ruining my tutorial here. Shut up. If I walk through that fog, it will spawn an angered spirit. And you will hear a sound that is very distinct. Only when you hear this sound are you about to encounter an angered spirit. And an angered spirit is a problem. Like I said, they don't go away. They don't despawn. Well, they can. I'll show you what I mean later. But so here, I'm going to walk through that fog. So an angered spirit has been released onto the floor. What does that mean? This spirit is going to come after me. Every once in a while it'll kind of drift away, but it's dead set on killing me. And there's an angered spirit. And so he's gonna try to kill me unless I do something about it. And I'm not gonna do anything about it. Let's take some damage. I've died. So when you die, shows you some stats, gives you a tip. This tip says some floors can be completed quickly, but why rush? You might find something useful if you look around, and that's very good advice. It's not all about just getting to the next floor. So something I'd like to mention as well. You may have noticed that these spirits all have different looks to them, you know? All these different spirits, they all have different looks to them. Can I tell different behaviors or whatever from how the ghosts look? No, not really. There are, I think, 50 or 60 something different types of spirits. Oh, see that? Types of like spirit visuals or models. So no, there's all different kinds. You can't really judge it by looking at it. You can only really tell what kind of spirit it is by, you know, obviously there's the glowing ones and stuff, but you can only really tell if it's angered or whatever by how it's behaving or the sounds that you've heard. So if you heard that like snoo, 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 like that reverse talking, that's an angered spirit. You're going to encounter an angered spirit until the floor is done, basically. But any other random little spirits you see floating around, you know, mostly harmless. Just figured I'd mention that since a lot of people don't notice that. So without further ado, let's spawn some zombies. Let's show you what the zombies look like and how they behave and how to get rid of them and all that kind of stuff. So let me just see something real quick. Got some matches, got a key. Oh, perfect, a ketchup bottle. All right. Ketchup bottle is OP. Let's spawn some zombies. Oh, I don't like that one. That's so some of them can run. I don't want a running one. There we go. That's perfect. So here's a zombie. There's like 5 different types of like the way that they look, right? 5 different models. This is the headless one. So the way zombies work is when they get close to you, they hit you. They do damage a little bit quicker than spirits do, but they're slow, you know, by comparison, like that. And you can actually kill zombies by picking up physics objects and throwing them at them. And they can dodge them. They can be sneaky little devils, but oh jeez, they're really sneaky. We're so sneaky. How can you dodge that, dude? You're like Neo in the Matrix. In the Matrix. You're like Neo in the Matrix. You can't dodge like that. You're too good at this, you stupid zombie. You're ruining my tutorial, zombie. Zombie. What's in your head? Yeah, I'm no head. Okay, well, I promise you that you can beat them to death. It's just not doing it. So, this is a particularly agile zombie. And I'm sorry about that. Come on, dude. Now you can get right up on it and just kind of like, see, that hurt it. That hurt it. Just don't throw it from a distance. But some items can hurt it from a distance. I think it's just this zombie is really fast paired with the ketchup bottle is maybe not the best weapon. This is a strong zombie. This is a strong bee. Stupid zombie. It's actually a really tough zombie. Their behavior, by the way, is randomized. Everything's behavior is randomized. That's worth mentioning. To what extent? Oh, baby, to a high extent. All right, so we killed the zombie. He dropped an item orb. Let's see. We got a key, or we got a coin. And we have a zombie corpse. We can pick it up and drag it around, put him in the fountain. Now that's a screenshot, baby. Look at that. Let's get the map out of there. Nice. Okay, so you probably noticed there's like kind of differences between spirit damage and zombie damage. So there's physical damage and there's spiritual damage. Spiritual damage is you incur spiritual damage from standing near spirit, a dark spirit. It's a little slower to build up, and also spirits, when they damage you, they'll be pushed back a little bit, so they can't just damage you over and over again. Zombies and physical damage is a little different. It's quicker, and it can happen over and over again. You know, zombies can like gang up on you and beat you to death. So it's worth mentioning the difference between the damage types. Now, there are other enemies, special enemies, all kinds. I kind of want to leave some of them as a secret. But there are some special enemies that you can run into. Let's spawn a couple of them just for the heck of it. Here's Crawler 4. Oh wait, I have Peaceful Mode on. So here you go. Here's one type of enemy. Very challenging enemy type. So that's just one of them. So I'm sure you can imagine they're quite diverse, and quite diverse in how you deal with them. You know, they're all very unique. What? There's something else worth mentioning, wasn't there? Well, I guess I should mention hauntings. So that's very aptly, very well timed. So there are also spirits that are more or less benevolent, but they can pop lights. Any spirit can pop lights, can pop a light bulb if they're close. So you probably noticed that when I've been, like if an angered spirit or something is near me, it'll, you know, shatter light bulbs and stuff. But then there's also stuff like this. You see, you can probably hear it. There's a benevolent spirit turning this light on and off. That's not me. That is a benevolent haunting. It can also impact objects on the ground. You know, it can throw stuff, open and close doors. It can do all sorts of stuff, and those are just hauntings, right? Those are usually benevolent. There are instances where TVs can become haunted. I think that happened earlier in this video. When that happens, yeah, you'll see the TV flop around, and it'll do that for some time, and that can damage you with spirit damage, so it's worth keeping in mind. There's a type of room that can spawn. Well, I'll talk about that later. So yeah, that's hauntings. I should also mention the way that the haunting level works in this game. So of course there are random events that are, you know, triggered by the player, right? Like walking through an angered ghost room or something like that. But there is also a general haunting level that is it's an unseen meter, I guess you could call it, that is constantly going up or down depending on what the player is doing. So if you're exploring lots of rooms and not picking up objects, and if you're exploring rooms over and over and over again, the haunting meter will rise considerably, and that's because you're lost. It tries its best to figure out if you're lost, and it punishes you for getting lost. But it also just goes up a little bit all the time. Not just like, well, it does go up a little bit when you're sitting still, I will say that. But if you discover a new room, it goes up just a tiny bit. But being lost will make it go up faster. And the higher the haunting level is, the more spirits can spawn, spirits can, you know, hauntings will occur. You can kind of get a gauge as to your progress and your, you know, what the game thinks of your abilities by how much stuff is exploding all around you. Spirits are everywhere. You see that? That's pretty. So let's move on to love. So as I mentioned in the beginning, you're dating a girl who's gotten lost in the mansion, and let's go ahead and spawn her. So this is the main character's love interest. She will follow you. Oh yes, she'll follow you. She's so cute. Look at her. Look at her little eyes. She's got some eyes on her. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by how absolutely beautiful she is. There's on any floor there's a 1 in 12 chance that she will spawn. If you walk up to her, she'll follow you. So she has 6 health, so she can take damage. Excuse me. She can take damage from spirits and from zombies, and she can die. And when she dies, she turns into a spirit and she attacks you. While she's alive, however, she'll randomly make noise like that. She'll also call out objects. So, for example, if there's a key on the floor. Hold on, let's walk away. See? So she'll... Oh, and I think she just dropped that talisman. That wasn't there before. So she'll call out when you get close to a key. She'll drop talismans for you. And check this out. Let's say there's a spirit. Let's say there was a spirit. She just used a skull talisman. You see that? Pretty crazy stuff. So she can actually use defensive talismans against spirits. Let's get out of here. Of course, she will follow you between floors. And if you run into her, she doesn't like it. And in the future, she will be required for the storyline boss fights that occur. She will be required. So if you enter the zone where that boss can be fought, but you don't have her with you, then you can't fight the boss and you just gotta leave. So she's a unique little character. Now let's talk about quests. Let's talk about quests and let's talk about NPCs. So there are people other than you trapped in this mansion. It's not all about you. There are other people trapped in this mansion too. Oh, I found a flashlight. Flashlight is an alternative to matches. So let's talk about quests and NPCs. So here's a quest giver. I'll get a quest giver going right here. Okay, so he wants me to find his incense, and he is somewhere around here. So let's find the man's incense. Oh, found it. Check that out. Oh, it's underneath this thing, so it's like a little glitchy, but that's his incense. So let's pick it up and let's give it to him. And he gave me some matches. And then he'll talk to me for a little bit. You are hoping for Noah hot bath. And he's got something else for us, a beacon talisman, my boy. Thank you. So everything he's saying now is random and he'll eventually stop, but he's quite talkative. Okay, he's done. So what he was just doing is when you run into an NPC, like a non-quest giver NPC, they'll just kind of ramble to you like he just did. But after a quest giver, after you complete their quest, they'll ramble to you. So for example, here I'll show you what I mean. So you can also run into NPCs that are not quest givers, and they'll just talk. Sometimes they'll give you items. Sometimes they'll actually threaten you. They'll tell you back away or I'm going to beat you up. And they mean it when they say that. That's all she had to say. So yeah, each NPC, they have tons and tons of randomized dialogue, even to the point where they have sentences that are randomly concatenated. What the hell is going on? They're randomly concatenated strings of words, so it tries its best to make sense. Sometimes it doesn't, as you saw before. But so yeah, so that's people and NPCs. Keep in mind also, if you see a quest giver and then you use the object talisman secondary ability, you can see where the quest item is. Oh, I'm so sleepy. For example, let's get ourselves a sorry, I got distracted. Let's get ourselves a quest. Oh, look at that, a blessed room. We'll talk about that in a second. There's so much going on. Anybody who's never seen this game before is like, what the hell is up with this game? This dude is a psycho, and they're right. Here's a dead mouse. Let's spawn a quest giver. But let's get an object talisman. I just want to show you real quick what I meant before. So remember, the secondary ability marks on the map where the quest item might be, right? So let's spawn a quest giver. find my stuffed camel. Oh, well, it's right there. But just for the sake of, you know, let's go out here and let's use our object talisman. And that's the quest item right there. So his stuffed camel's right there. Let's see what he gives us. Where'd he go? Here you go, have this. And he gave me, I don't even know what that is. He gave me just like a random piece of plastic. That's really nice, dude. Thanks so much. So, that's it with the quests and NPCs. And so now let's talk tips and tricks. Let's talk tips and tricks, baby. So there's something that I want to show you. You may have noticed this fountain before. So what's the point of this fountain, you might be asking yourself right now? Well, this is a blessed fountain. There are blessed and cursed fountains. You can tell by the color. This is just clear water. It's a blessed fountain. If I stand in it, first of all, it'll heal me and it'll overheal. It'll overheal, sorry. So lots of health for me. And then also, if you drop coins in here, so you guys have seen the lay of the land, right? Like where all the talismans are and stuff, right? I'm gonna just drop a lot of coins in here into this blessed fountain, and just pay attention to the floor over time, okay? All right. While we wait for that, let's talk about blessed rooms. This is what I was trying to show you earlier, the blessed room. Remember I was talking about that secondary ability on that travel talisman? Well, if a floor has a blessed room like this, you can use the secondary ability like this. So the secondary ability on the travel talisman will bring you to the blessed room. And what is the blessed room? Well, it's got all these talismans floating around. Wow. The blessed room actually heals you, for one thing. So if I had taken some damage, right, I'm at 3 health. Blessed room can heal you. Second of all, most enemies cannot enter in here. Some can. It's usually like kind of harmless, benevolent enemies that can enter here. But for the most part, enemies cannot enter this space. You can tell it's a blessed room by all of the dang, you know, talismans all over the place and everything and all of that stuff. Yeah. So also in every blessed room, there will be at least 4 talismans that spawn. And so you can use it as a place to heal, get safe, get talismans. Pretty useful little rooms. So yeah, those are blessed rooms. So let's see what's going on out here. I hear item orbs. There's an item orb. Where do all these item orbs come from? There's a key in that one. There's a warp talisman. I don't think that was there before. Another item orb. Oh man, an object talisman. Another one. Whoa, dude. So this is the benefit of dropping coins in blessed fountains. Talismans, these I spawned, I believe, but these are new. This is new. This is because I dropped a ton of coins in that blessed fountain, so it brings me good luck. It brings me lots and lots of objects and stuff, so pretty neat. So if you see a blessed fountain, definitely drop some coins in it. There are also cursed fountains, and if you drop coins in those or stand in those, it has a slightly different effect. So I'm thinking here, I think I'm going to restart and I'm just gonna play through a little bit. I'm just explore, and as I find stuff, random stuff that I want to explain to you, I'm just gonna call it out. So, and before I do want to call out, this is sort of a lore thing. This is, I feel like I just feel the need to mention this. So I mentioned to you before that ToruTaru is a demon who has consumed the mansion, and you know, the majority of this stuff is just the inside of ToruTaru. What that means is it's not real, right? Like, this is not a piece of architecture that lives in the real world. But ToruTaru did consume a real home, you know, is wrapped around a real home, and you know, there's just a little bit of lore, but these super decrepit areas that you can run into, these are actually the real house. So these are the real world. Just figured I'd mention that. Also, this is these rooms have a chance of being a junk room, so a whole bunch of stuff will just kind of drop on the floor like that. Yeah. So yeah, let's restart, and I'll just describe the stuff as it comes. I'm not going to use any cheats. Let's go. Floor 1. So that was when an end room does not spawn, you'll see the words, a door has opened somewhere. Oh no, I don't want that. And yeah, you just walk through that to get to the next area, but it doesn't bring you to the next floor. Oh man. When you pick up that map object, it reveals the entire floor like that. You can also use middle click and the mouse wheel to zoom in and out and to move around and stuff. This is an end door, so let's mark that and look for our key. Now, you probably noticed that I just straight up avoided this, and that's because there's an angered spirit there. And if I can get myself a key, or sorry, if I can get myself some coins, you know what, I will cheat. I will cheat so that I can show this to you, just to demonstrate proof of concept here. So let's get some coins here. So that, that fog that you saw there, that black fog, that will spawn an angered spirit. Oh, jeez, dude, ultra haunted room. So let's cancel that angered spirit. So you hear that noise? Did you hear that? That was the spirit getting canceled. So it cannot, or you know, I made an offering to it and appeased it. Now here's the thing: if I pick up that coin, it will spawn an angered spirit. Whoa! Hey! Now hold on, that's not an angered spirit. That's not an angered spirit. I'll show you what I mean. I'm just gonna run from it. I'm not gonna mess with it. And it's gone. Keep in mind, the only real dangerous spirits, like really dangerous spirits, are the ones where you hear that sound. This sound that you're about to hear. So when you hear the reverse speech like that, that is an angered spirit. And that is bad news. Now, how do you avoid spirits? Well, check this out. So here's something you can do with lamps that are on. It won't walk through the lamp. It'll push the lamp, it can, but it won't walk through it. Oh man, or just prove me wrong. It's not supposed to. Oh yeah, let's use the closet. So it's been repelled by me going into that closet. Now something else worth mentioning is when you're low on health, it does actually impact your gameplay experience. So at lower health, you will experience hallucinations. I'll show you what I mean. Come on over, baby. I'm right here for you. Okay, my health is lower. Let's just deter the ghost with the closet. So I'm at 2 health. So starting at 2 health and below, you'll notice that the screen is a little dirty. Whoa. The screen is a little dirty, and there will be hallucinations. I'm gonna remove the ghost for a second. I'll show you what hallucinations mean. While we wait for some hallucinations, I'm gonna also mention that at 1 health, you get a speed boost. So here's my running speed at 2 health. That's a hallucination. That's a hallucination, that sound. There are different types of hallucinations. You can hallucinate people. You can hallucinate the love interest. You can hallucinate, oh my goodness, all kinds of stuff. You can hallucinate taking damage. You can take fake damage, where it appears you're taking damage, but you're really not. I'm gonna hurt the player just the slightest bit more so I can show you the speed boost at 1 HP. So let's hurt the player. So we're at 1 HP. You can tell, especially because there's throbbing on the outside of the screen, and here's the run speed. You can actually run faster than normal when you're at 1 HP. And so that can kind of give you just a little bit more of an advantage to maybe escape or something like that. So let's just stand here and wait for some hallucinations. So that was a hallucination. Keep in mind, low HP, if you're at low HP, if your vitality is low, you can hallucinate. And there are all kinds of hallucinations that can occur. But they're not actually dangerous. So there's another one. They're not actually dangerous. They cannot hurt you. They can't cause you any problems. They're just scary and annoying. Let's see if we get another one. So that was hallucinated damage. So it was the same sound and visuals and everything of taking spirit damage, but I didn't actually take any damage. I think that's more or less all of the types of hallucinations. You can also hallucinate NPCs, so one will appear behind you and start talking to you. Okay, that was real. That was not a hallucination. Man, they really like to do that, don't they? The hallucinations. That is a hallucination. That sound, that voice is a hallucination. Anyway, so I'm going to move on from that. Let's see, what else is worth discussing? Oh, that is a hallucination. And they will, when they're rambling to you like that, if you walk away from them a certain distance, they will stop. But anyway, that's a good crash course on hallucinations, I think. It's worth mentioning that I had mentioned before we went over the blessed fountains that you can throw coins in, and I know useful objects will appear all over the place. The cursed fountain, if you stand in it, will actually cause the low HP hallucinations. So the same types of hallucinations, it'll cause those. So let's go ahead and heal ourselves. I don't want to deal with that anymore. Let's see what else we've got here. Some meta. So I want to show you what okay, let's go to the next level. I want to show you what I want to show you burning zombie corpses. So zombies can be sacrificed. They have to be sacrificed in a specific place, but they can be sacrificed. I'm gonna just restart real quick to show you this. Because it's oh well, look at what we have here. How convenient. A zombie. Let's beat him to death. So you remember these things trigger angered spirits, right? Remember that? Keep that in the back of your head real quick while I kill this zombie. Come on, man. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Dang zombie, man. I gotta make it easier to damage them. Maybe the bowl hitbox isn't good. Oh, the fork. I remember the fork being OP. Yup, the fork does damage. The fork does damage. Let's go. Okay, so I killed the zombie, right? And he dropped a protect talisman. That's cool. Okay, so over here we've got this thing, right? Now I'm going to show you sacrificing the zombie, but I'm also going to show you canceling an angered spirit spawn. This is I sound like someone who plays with trains a lot, I know, but you know, there's nothing wrong with that. So let's sacrifice the zombie and cancel the spirit spawn. Check this out. Drag the dead zombie in here. Light a match on him. Now, it may appear that an angered spirit has spawned, but that's not an angered spirit. There's no way. There's no way. Okay, yeah, that was a coincidence. That's a different type of spirit. That was not an angered spirit. It's gone. See? So you can actually burn the zombie in the middle of this room, and okay, so a couple of things will happen. For one thing, it'll cancel that effect if you do it quick enough. It'll cancel an angered spirit spawning. Regardless of that, even if there's no, fog or anything in here, let's get another dead zombie here. Let's get another dead zombie here. Notice all these talismans. So it'll actually drop a random reward every time you burn a zombie. In the middle of one of these rooms only, where you see the candle, it's like slightly flickering in here. This is a seance room, and you can burn zombies here. You just drop them in the middle of the room and light a match. This time, he dropped a lot of coins. A whole bunch of coins. So it's a different reward every time. You'll get talismans, you'll get coins, you can get keys, it's all kinds of stuff. So that's sacrificing a zombie. It's kind of a a rare meta. I mean, you kind of have to go out of your way to do it, but you can do it if you're trying to get a specific talisman on a specific floor. It's another way to increase your chances of getting an item that you want. Sorry if I'm rambling. I'm really tired. Hello. Oh, he has he wants his flashlight. Okay. What other things might be worth going over? That fork really is OP, man. This is a flashlight, but it's not his flashlight. That would probably confuse a lot of players. This is not the quest item flashlight. This is the player usable flashlight. Oh, those things. So that is a haunting spirit, I think is what it's called, or stalking spirit. I forget what I called it in the code. But those ethereal people that you see, if you run into them, they can actually spawn bad stuff. It can turn into not an angered spirit, but it can turn into like one of those, Here, I'll actually show you. So I'll walk into this one. It didn't do anything. It's random whether or not it actually does something, but more often than not it will. And it especially increases your haunting level, the invisible haunting meter. It especially increases that. What other kinds of tricks and tips can I give you? I mean, let's say you've got the key, and let's say you don't have the key, but you have found the end door, right? So of course you can mark it with a pen, or if you have a recall talisman, drop it right there at that end door, and then go find your key, yada yada, and then when you're ready to end the level and you got your key, recall back to the door, pop through the door. So you can use the recall talisman kind of as a shortcut to do the level faster. I believe jumping does increase your speed, right? Here's my running speed, and then here's my running speed while jumping. So if you need to get past enemies, jumping is actually very useful. Because it's really fast. So bunny hopping in this game is actually very rewarding. What the heck was that? There's a spirit of some kind here. I'm trying to think of other tips and tricks, man, but I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. That's the gist of ToruTaru, at least how it stands now. Now, I guess I should talk about the future of ToruTaru and what it's going to look like in the future. So the game is still in development. It's still in early access, and it's taken me a while. It's taken me a really long time to finish this game, So the future of ToruTaru, there will be story progression bosses. So there will be bosses that you have to fight with the love interest to progress the story. The story will be fully revealed. The intro is going to be redone. There will be new enemy types. There will be new level types. That's what I'm most excited about. Right now there are about 12, I think. No, actually, I think there are 12 normal level types. But then there are also, I think, 2 or 3 special level types that you can get warped to in special circumstances. there will be, my goodness, I mean, so the game being randomly generated, the important thing is lots and lots of content, lots of like objects like this, you know. And so one of the biggest things that I'm looking forward to, and for others to look forward to, are just variety, you know, generally, like, you know, just new types of rooms, new types of objects, all kinds of stuff like that. Here's a cursed fountain, by the way. Here's what happens if you stand in it. Did you hear that? That was the girlfriend's, the love interest's laugh. Hallucinated. Again. Anyway, you get the idea. It's the same as the low HP hallucinations. And then let's go ahead and see what happens if I dump a bunch of coins in there. Well, what's this? An item orb. So there's a spirit that's not happy with me. All kinds of spirits, in fact. But there's a dead zombie. 2 dead zombies. What's going on? So the cursed fountains, dropping coins in them, increases your haunting level by a lot. But it also causes dead zombies to appear randomly. And that can be useful because you can use them in the seance rooms to sacrifice for items. So it can actually be useful to get cursed. Just like in real life. Now that tip is very important right there. Making eye contact with spirits makes them aggressive. And that's true. So most spirits, especially harmless ones, won't bother you at all, especially if you don't look at them. So it's a good strategy to kind of just look away, look at the floor when you know that there's a spirit in front of you. Anyway, that, you know, I might just leave it at that, man. That's an introduction to ToruTaru. There's a lot of variety to this game. It's different every time you play. The layout, you know, what the game will allow you to do, what the game will do to you or do for you. Yeah, I did my best to try to create something that feels alive as a whole. You know, not just with, you know, little characters that are alive, but I tried to make the game itself feel very alive, you know. Make the game feel like it's... Man, I gotta make that stop. That's annoying. Make the game feel like it's almost mocking you, you know, like if you mock it, it'll mock you back, kind of a thing, you know. Yeah, so ToruTaru, it's on Steam. It's on Steam. It's $5 right now. I'm probably going to increase the price pretty soon, not by much, but I have put over 2,000 hours into this game, and so there's a lot of game here, an infinite amount of game technically, and so I might raise it to like $8 or something. I don't know. I got to consult my CFO on that one. That's who is also me, so I got to have a hard conversation with myself about raising the price. I also like to put it on sale because I don't Really, I didn't make this for money. I made it because it's fun to play and make. So, but yeah, Unity, if you've been keeping up with the news, Unity has done some ridiculous things, adding runtime fee. Basically, they're going to start charging the developer for installations or for activations of a product. And really just no way that they roll that back or alter it is going to change the fact that they, you know, intended on doing it. So this may be the last game I make in Unity. Yeah, it's fun though. It's a really fun game. Yeah, Unity's you know, financial team, PR team, seriously all deserve to get turned into fucking hamburgers, into hamburger meat. They're I'm not legally allowed to describe how I feel about those parasites. You know, they lost a lot of money as a company from their own poor management asset. So management of their. Sorry, I'm getting attacked here. And I'm talking about something that I shouldn't have brought up at all in this video. But you know, they've got 7,700 employees. Their C-suite is paid very, very well. And like they lost like $1 billion in the past year. And like, who's shocked about that? You know, what 7,700 employees doing what? So I understand why they did it. They're desperate. Literally open up any stock trading app, like open up Robinhood or something, and look at their projected earnings for the last quarter, and then look at their true earnings, and then look at what they did right after. It's obvious why they did it, but it's just stupid. So fuck them. But yeah, I'm gonna continue to program in Unity for now, and I'll continue to develop ToruTaru. And yeah, so a lot of fun things to look forward to in this game. Yeah, it's fun. Go play it. Like I said, it's $5 right now. If you can't afford $5, you know what? Reach out to me on Twitter, and I'll just you know, if you're hurting, write me a 1,000-word essay on what you want to do when you're in ToruTaru, and as long as it's not written by ChatGPT, I'll just give you a free copy. I don't care. I just want people to play my game. That's what I'm getting at. It's fun. It's a fun world to be in. So yeah, that's how you play. That's how you make violent statements about Unity as a company. That's that's how you play ToruTaru. With that, I'm gonna mute my mic, and I'm gonna just play through. I'm gonna restart here, and I'm just gonna play for a little bit. I'm just gonna play how I play. No commentary. Just gonna show you what the game's like. So. And that's that. So yeah, that is an average game of ToruTaru. And that's how to play. I might split this out into chapters. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing at all anymore. Good night, guys.